Good afternoon, guys. Great to see you all here supporting the Jewellery Industry Fair in Sydney. Congrats to Laura and her team, doing an amazing job putting all this together. Have our first show here. Nice to have the industry, controlling its own destiny, have a fair by the industry for the industry. Now, the more observant of you will have noticed that I'm not the Nivoda CEO, Dave Sutton, as advertised. I'm more like the disappointing Wish version that you would receive. Dave does send, our CEO does send his apologies, of course. Deeply regrets obviously not being able to join us. It's an exciting time for us as a company. We have investors chasing us now, which was a nice position to be in, wanting to be part of something special. So we have VC funds who are chasing us from New York, and if they want to fly from New York to London just for a meeting with Dave, it seems polite to hear them out, and so that's what he's doing this weekend. So again, his apologies. Now, it's been 30 years since I've had to do a trade presentation, so please be gentle. That was the 80s, and I was an apprentice in the printing industry, and I had to do a talk to TAFE on why we should get Macs. If you haven't heard of Apple, they went on to do some big things, so it turns out that was the right call. Our industry's undergoing its own evolution, so not unlike the print industry, so what a time to be alive. So what is the virtual sales experience? Essentially, it's, in simple terms, it's just selling diamonds that you don't hold in stock. We all know that even if you're holding stock, clients are always going to want what you don't have. So you're sending them away, you're getting them back in a day or two when you've got stones on AppPro. Traditionally, that's how we've always done it, but the world has changed and our industry has changed. So how did it all start? Well, global B2C retailers entered the market and started providing more choice and often better pricing. Not a new concept. Blue Nile started doing this back in 1999, which may amaze many people. The writing's been on the wall for well over a decade. But then COVID happened and the world was in lockdown. It's the perfect storm for online shopping. But now we've got Brilliant Earth, we've got James Allen, and these other huge companies have entered the market and all fighting for your customer's wallet. When Brilliant Earth entered the market only 2 years ago, they were valued at $1 billion company when they went public. It just goes to show you the scale and the opportunities that are available there. And these are your competition nowadays. It's not just the jeweler up the road anymore. And it just that demonstrates you don't become a $1 billion company if people aren't finding value in the services that you're providing and are very comfortable shopping in this virtual environment. And it's consumers who are driving this change. Now, I'm sure none of this is news to you, but what can we do? Well, if you don't Uberize, you'll be Kodak'd. I love this quote. I used to use this all the time in my store. I used to work for a manufacturing jeweler in Adelaide. I used to use this all the time when I was talking about labs. I used to find it strange that the only people who complained about labs were jewelers, in the same way that the only people who complained about Uber were the cabbies. But the customers already made their opinion heard, and you can only ignore their voice for so long. But that's another conversation. The point is, history shows us that those that fail to adapt to change risk following the same fate as Kodak. Does anyone remember Blockbuster? But it's not all doom and gloom for our industry, and these billion-dollar companies are aware of this. So the grass is always greener. While we may envy the volumes and the scale that they're doing business, they envy the emotional connection that you can build in store. And the biggest players have all decided that they need to do the same, and so they have all moved into creating brick and mortars. They're all doing what you guys are doing. James Allen, Brilliant Earth, Blue Nile have all realised the value of the in-store experience and had to go down that path as well. Here in Australia, globally, it's the innovative stores who've got the head start. Bricks and Clicks, as they're known, so that's brick and mortar stores who have e-commerce abilities, are the ones that are experiencing significantly greater growth than the traditional retailer. And by significant, I mean the best ones here are doing tenfold what traditional retailers are doing. In fact, the best ones here are equal with the top few retailers in the world, which is just fantastic to see Australians competing in that level. Australia Post found this as well. They produced an e-commerce report this year and they found the same statistics. Retailers who invested in their digital experience and integrating their online and offline experience are generating significantly greater both growth and being rewarded. 82% of Australian businesses last year bought online. That's a staggering statistic to show you how comfortable the world has become in that space. And for jewellers, the challenge is to recreate that in-store experience online. You need to be able to deliver as many of your services that you would provide in-store online. So online or offline, the experience should be the same. It should be easy, it should be friendly. It's got to be a positive experience, professional and informative. So what are the past challenges? So lack of inventory, not many jewellers are holding huge inventories, and so you're invariably having to send clients away, get them back when you've got stones to show them. But also, with the volatility in the market, particularly with the labs, as we all know, you don't want to be holding inventory and then being caught when the price drops. And we've all, even naturals, the 1 carat plus have all come down over 20% recently. I know clients who've got over $1 million in inventory that they're still moving, and guys who bought stones from Antwerp 20 years ago that they can't still move on. Then you've got the APROs. So if you don't hold stock, then you've got that delay again of sending your client away, getting them back. Hopefully they'll come back in a day or two when you've got something to show them. And if you're buying locally, then there's a limited number of suppliers domestically, and obviously that's going to limit the choice as well. And you've got that delay in speed and inconvenience, and often the price plays a factor. Then you've got the quality. I was just talking about this with a client just moments ago. It can be tough to find even VS stones domestically and above. The stones here obviously are largely aside because they represent the best value. But when you want clients who need that or are demanding that higher quality, there's limited choice available. And so you're always at the mercy of, if you're going offshore, you're also in the mercy that they're telling you it's eye clean and you won't know until you receive it. It's a really inefficient process, as we all know. Your client's going to walk into your store and we all have to do the ring around. We're going to just work through your list until you've got 2 or 3 or 4 options to present your client. And it's the same if you are going offshore, then you've got to reach out, you've got to go direct, you've got to wait for them to message you, you're filling in your KYC forms for each of them, etc. Or even just waiting for them to reply. And it's the time that takes for you and your team making all of those calls. It's a very labour-intensive process. And once you get the stones, you've got those costs, of course, of sending them back as well. And then paying up front. If you're going offshore, there's not many suppliers that will ship a stone to Australia without paying up front. And then you've got the other costs, other challenges of doing that, where you've got to pay in US dollars. So now you're going through foreign exchange and dealing with that. Just another inconvenience. And then, of course, it's going to get here and you're going to have to get a call from customs and then go through your customs agent, your brokers to manage that process as well before they're going to land in your store. And again, you don't have those return options. So when the stone lands, there's not many suppliers that will happily take the stone back if you turned out to be disappointed. So how are these challenges solved? I can't speak for all platforms, but this is certainly how we've solved it. At Nivoda, we will consolidate. You want to order 50 stones from 50 suppliers, you don't have to reach out to them all individually. We'll take care of that for you. We're also going to independently QC them and take care of that process to make sure that any problems are identified early, not in a week's time when the stones arrived in store. We 99% of the time, because we independently QC all of our merchandise, they're going to pass through QC because the suppliers know that that's what we're doing. But it's not the 99%, it's the 1% that's important. It's when you catch something where the supplier tells you it's eye clean and you catch it early or find out that it's got a blue tint or something. You can find out now and begin that process, not in a week's time, and you've got to get your client to wait a week where you sort that out. Credit. So certainly with us, you don't have to pay up front. We offer 30 days and 60-day terms. So, cash flow is king, and that can take the pressure off your business. And we don't even make you pay before you ship it. As soon as it passes QC, we ship to you, and then we're going to send you the bill. And we're Australian, so we're here. We're represented. I'm from Adelaide. We've got people in Sydney and Melbourne, and because we're local, you just pay us in Australian dollars. So no more going through foreign exchange. I used to go through Ausforex. You just pay us as in BSP like you would any other supplier. And finally, returns. So the biggest thing, and this is a great retail advantage. For us, we offer, we've got over 1 million stones that you can have free returns on for 35 days back to us. So, reach out within kind of 30 days and let us know. So the great thing that this offers for clients who are cautious about buying with the virtual model, they're used to getting a tray, or they've been told that, they'll get a stone in, they'll come in and see it on a tray. And now if you've gone down the virtual path, you can let them know, look, worst case scenario, you guys all know what a HSI or a DVS is going to look like, but your client doesn't. This is a once in a lifetime purchase for them. So if you let them know, look, worst case scenario, we're going to send this stone back for you, suddenly you can see them relax. Their shoulders are going to drop knowing that they've got that safety net, that you can just contact us and or other suppliers potentially and send that back. But the client's going to love it because you love it and you know what they need. But it's a great safety net there. If you do find yourself in that scenario, we need to return the stone. It doesn't matter what the reason. Clients change their mind from a round to an oval, lab to a natural, or they've just bailed completely on the project. Then we're going to send you a label. We'll send a courier to come and get it, and you get a credit or refund when we get it back. So at zero cost. So all of these conveniences allow you to free up that time, burden, and that administrative overhead. And increasing the choices and the opportunities available to present to you and your clients and the margin to focus more on your clients and focus more on your business. So this is the advantages that this virtual process can deliver on each level. So it is possible now to run a zero inventory model, improving your balance sheet. And so when customers visit your store, you can have potentially over 1 million diamonds to show them. So the idea is to help them close those deals in that moment. So they're not coming to you, picking your brains, getting all the knowledge they learned from you about what's important, then leaving and then applying that through some of these other international players. It also stops that whole secret squirrel dance, as I call it, where traditionally, customers are going to come in, they tell you, I want a 1 carat oval, and you sneak off to your supplier's website, find it, and if it's in the US, you've got to convert it, then apply your margins, and then come back to them with an option. And then in the meantime, decide, well, actually, if we increased our budget by $1,000, what will that get us? Okay, hang on a sec. Sneak off, find another stone, come back to them. Now they've decided they like pear shapes as well. All right, hang on, repeat. And you've got to leave the client alone while we all do this dance, as we've all been doing for decades, where we've got to sneak off and find pricing and come back to them. With a virtual model, you can show the diamonds with your branding, your logos, your markups, and your pricing. So the idea allows you to close those deals in that meeting. You put a diamond on a tray, you're going to see it under a 10 times loop. You see it on a platform, these are 40 times magnified, and then you click to enlarge them, and suddenly, the diamond is 3 feet across, and you email it to them, and they watch it on their 50-inch TV, and they're seeing their diamond at 5 feet. You think it looks good at that size, obviously it's going to look amazing at actual size. We know there was one jeweller recently, a client in the US who does hold inventory, holds a lot of inventory, but invariably even in those cases, you're going to get clients who want what you don't have. And so since he was using CFM, a customer facing mode option to at least show something to a client when he doesn't have something in store, he was able to close an additional 50% of those requests, just being able to show them in a virtual environment. But in a post-COVID world, we're hearing a lot of jewellers are down on foot traffic. Everyone's working remotely. I'm certainly doing that. So what used to be our busiest time was the lunch hour. That all changed when I was in retail back to weekends. We were suddenly booked out on weekends and the weeks were pretty quiet. And some jewellers are reporting to me that they've been down 80 and 90% and are going back to trade work just to keep things moving. So what do you do if no one's coming into the store? Having 1 million stones on an iPad is not going to help. But a curated feed on your website is how you can compete with these other massive virtual models. You can have 1 million stones, nominate the quality. I want D to F, I want VS+, I want XXX only, I only want images and videos, and now some of the jewellers are using the returnable option to promote that to their clients as a value add proposition. So again, it's about removing the risk for them. If you find that caution about buying a physical stone, you can use that as a sales tool and promote that to your client that, look, worst case scenario, you just contact us and we're going to send it back. good platforms can help with that, and we certainly do, and there are others, and ours is free. But your ability to suddenly sell outside your store, and this is where it really took it for me in my store. We'd been doing online signs for a while. I used to go direct to Wrap and VDB and other platforms until Nivoda came out to me in my store, and I got rid of everybody else and just used this because it was just so much easier. I was getting diamonds delivered in a week. I couldn't even get answers in a week with our other options. So you can start to sell outside your store, outside your city, and outside your state, and that was certainly the case for me. Certainly during COVID, because I was in Adelaide and we were shut for a week, and the rest of the country you were shut for 270 odd days, and I was selling 5-carat diamonds to Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane like it was going out of fashion. So COVID could have stayed forever as far as I was concerned. It was great. So, but we had the diamonds on our website, so customers are browsing, they're coming across our site. Our store was open, so we were able to fill those orders as well. But what's going to happen if we're all buying from the same place? Right? Isn't that going to be a race to the bottom? Another fiction. No, that's not a new concept. Traditional retailer, customer's going to walk into my store and they're going to want a 1-carat oval, and I'm going to start ringing around. Then they're going to go to the guy up the road, and he's going to do the same thing. Then they're going to go to another and one near home, and eventually we're all going to call the same suppliers because they're all limited options. So it's inevitable that we are quoting the same times. I certainly came across it, multiple times in my store in bricks and mortar retail. But price has never been the critical factor in clients making decisions on their rings. These are emotional investments, and the things that separate you from your competitors have always been there. So it's your reputation, your Google reviews, the experience that they have in store or the experience that they have online before they come and see you in store, referrals from friends, the value proposition you base on all of those things, they're going to, form your client's opinion on what you're doing. But if you had 2,000 suppliers instead of 10 or 20, then suddenly the chance of quoting the same stone as your competitor becomes infinitely smaller. So, price has never been the main factor that has helped you win all your business. I'm sure none of you are the cheapest jeweller in your space, right? Because no one wants to be the cheapest, you want to be the best value. Because that's not how the internet works. Your website, Google, the jeweller with the cheapest diamonds is not going to be the one that's selling the most. We certainly know that. There are jewellers who are putting 95% on, some certainly with labs, and others are doing a lot more. But your website traffic is, your profile is built on the website traffic, the activity, the engagement, how often you update your site, and by the way, feeds can help with all of those things. So unlike naturals, again, so there is a massive discrepancy. Most jewellers are putting the same sort of margins on their labs, on their naturals. Lab is the Wild West. Like I said, there's jewellers who are putting 95% on. 2.5 to 3.5 seems to be the average, but there's plenty doing ×5. Some are doing ×10. Apparently, there's someone here in Sydney doing ×20. So it's a case of whatever you can get for it at the moment, and hopefully the market will eventually, settle on what's acceptable. But the retailers with the best website and the best social media, they are the ones who are leading the way. The ones I mentioned before who are doing 10 times the other ones are. It's about having an engaging online presence, and particularly, leveraging that with the social media creating engaging content that is going to generate interest, and that's what's going to bring people to the store. Not who's got the cheapest diamonds. And we certainly, again, we're seeing that the guys with the cheapest diamonds are not the ones selling the most. The ones that are in that middle tier, they are the ones doing huge volumes. So this all sounds great. How do you get started? Well, in our case, our platform is free. You can come and see us. To join, there's really, with us, there's no reason not to. It's a great way to just benchmark what you're doing now. Sign up and have a look. You decide this is not for you, then you've only lost a couple of minutes of your time. But you have opportunities to, in our case, 80% of the world's inventory, 2,000 suppliers to choose from, free returns, all those sort of things we've touched on. So there is a huge commercial and financial and time benefit in looking at embracing these sort of virtual models. The idea is that to get you the best price stone, if you're shopping on the world market, you're going to get the best price stone every time. Not even if you're going offshore, and again, I used to go direct, Lakshmi Stares and others. I'm going to see the best stone they've got. But the chance that that stone is the best stone in the world is, they're one of 2,000 suppliers. So now you get to explore, well, what does the world have to offer and how can I take advantage of that? So then we'll get it, search, find the best deals, and then with us, we independently QC every stone. It's really important. Obviously, we're giving you all of the benefits of going offshore, giving you access to the world's market, and removing all the downside of having to pay up front, paying in US dollars, worrying about how it's going to look when I get here, and dealing with customs, filling in KYC forms for 10 suppliers if I want to buy 10 from 10 different stones. So again, we're about giving you all of those commercial benefits, but that the virtual selling experience can provide to free you guys up so that you can focus on your clients and on your business. Our industry is going through a huge evolution. And even for an industry as steeped in tradition as ours, change is inevitable. I've always liked the joke about how many social workers does it take to change a light bulb. It's just one, but the light bulb has to want to change. And this is very much with the position that we're in. We need to embrace this change. And if you guys want to change, then we certainly hope to hear, and there are others that can do the same. Thank you for your time.